Finally, it's here, our very first episode of Exceptional TV with your host, Alex Granger. I'm looking forward to weekly sharing fantastic interviews with you with great guests in studio. Our very first inaugural episode is with trend specialist, innovator par excellence, and lecturer at Singularity University, the awesome Johan Sanei, and I'm going to have him in studio right about now. So let's check this out. So, Johan Sanei, welcome to Exceptional TV. It's really great to have you here. And I remember meeting you, and we had that meeting in Cape Town. And here you are setting up this brand. And I want to know, how do you position yourself? Like when someone says to you, John, who are you? What do you say?
Well,
what
thanks
do you
so
do?
much for having me.
Awesome.
I'm a human being following my highest excitement, and I think the intentions around growing yourself to become bigger than yourself must always be fueled by an emotion.
Right.
And I think one of the most important emotions is excitement. People don't give it enough airtime.
Right.
So what I am is a person that looks at human psychology and future studies, and I like to combine them and fuse them to really understand how to become the best versions of ourselves in the future.
Right.
How do we understand the trends and categorize and contextualize them in order to make the best business decisions?
Right.
And I do that through vlogging, talking, authoring, and also having my own businesses.
And riding the bike in Cape Town, doing the Facebook Live thingies.
That's right.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I've decided not to drive my car. So I've decided to drive my car as little as possible.
Right.
And so only if it rains and if it's going to be a long distance, I drive my car. But I do my grocery shopping, I go to gym.
On a bike.
I go to meetings, I go to interviews, all on a bicycle.
Awesome. Yeah. I love the response of study. And you're a lecturer at Singularity University. How did that happen?
So Singularity University, firstly, is the sort of brainchild of Ray Kurzweil, who's a prolific author and speaker around the future.
Yeah.
And him, together with a guy called Peter Diamandis, also a prolific entrepreneur, speaker, and author, they founded Singularity University in San Francisco about 12 years ago.
Okay.
And their main aim is to help solve the grand challenges of the world based on understanding of human psychology and technology.
Yeah. Right.
And so it sits in San Francisco. And I went to do a course, executive program.
I remember that.
And while I was there, I interacted with the staff and we did an interview. And they said to me that I was very well positioned to become a faculty member, which was beyond my wildest dreams. You
didn't go there thinking that's what happened?
Not at all. And I came away being the first African faculty member for Singularity University.
What does that say about discerning the available opportunities in a world that's constantly changing? I mean, there you were. You didn't go there to become a faculty member.
No.
You went there to learn and study and qualify in whatever you studied in. And boom, today you're going back and now you're lecturing on various aspects around the challenges of the world, the future, the psychology.
Yes.
That must have been exciting, just being able to see there's an opportunity and boom, let me take advantage of the time.
Yeah, I think when you are following your highest excitement, you're always energized. You're always in your best place.
Yeah.
And in that process, people are enthused and inspired being around you.
Yeah.
Because you're just the best version of yourself. And I think a lot of people go through life making decisions through logical thinking. In other words, I should study to become a lawyer because it will give me the best opportunity. But does it excite you? Nah, I don't know, maybe.
I just want to
I need to make that money and that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think when you start following your highest excitement, people are enthused and inspired by the fact that you've stepped into the space of excitement rather than just doing the job through the process. And I think that was really the part of it, is that I'm continuously excited and I'm continuously inspired by my own sort of goal setting and intentions.
Yeah.
And when I was speaking to the gentleman that was the head of faculty, when I didn't even know he was the head of faculty, he took us on a walking tour to where Steve Jobs made a lot of his computer designs at a donut shop right next to Infinity One Loop, which is Apple's head office. And he worked with Steve Jobs for 15 years. And he was giving us a story of Steve Jobs and how it was working with him. And I was just so enthusiastic about asking more and more questions that we just got along really well. The next day, he took us again on a walk to this donut shop. And that day, he told us about his 4 years he worked with Obama. And I love Obama. I mean, he's just my absolute hero. Again, enthusiastically asking about Obama. Again, not knowing what position he held at the university.
Wow.
The next day, he says to me, So we start talking, and I said, so Jonathan, what do you do here at Singularity? He says, no, I'm head of faculty. I choose who joins this. I didn't even know.
You spoke a little earlier, a few seconds ago, because I'm beginning to ask myself the question, who's the host? Who's the host of Exceptional TV? Is it me or is it you? So let me try and take over this interview. You spoke a little bit earlier about being the best version of yourself, and I've heard that, and sometimes people don't even understand it. Versions of yourself, is that something along the lines of, okay, potentially there's this other dormant person that could really come out and flourish? What does it mean to have versions of yourself? Because a lot of motivational speakers talk about be the best version of yourself, and they never break it down. What is your understanding about that?
Great question.
Yeah.
There's 3 parts of your body you can make decisions with.
Okay.
And what I've realized is that I've made decisions from these 3 parts of my bodies throughout my life. Mm-hmm. The first one is primal desire decision making, and it's made from this region. And I'm not talking a sexual thing, I'm talking about primal desires. And what primal desires are is, am I better than the competition? Am I sexier to the opposite sex? Am I beating all the other lions in the cage?
Right.
And in that process, what we do is we compete, and we don't actually look at what's the best version of ourselves. We're trying to be best part of the crowd. Mm-hmm. The second way we can make decisions is the logical way.
Right.
Your dad told you that you must study electrical engineering. That's what's going to set you up for your family, and that's what you need to do. So it's the logical decision. Right. The logical decision doesn't get you to a place of happiness. It makes you averagely accepted into the society, right?
Okay.
The only place I feel that we could make our decisions from, or should make our decisions from, is the heart.
Is the heart, I thought.
And when we make the heart decisions, what happens is our access to energy increases, our access to creativity increases. And if you break down the word inspiration, it's in spirit, inspiration.
Yes,
and that only comes from the heart, not from the head or the primal desires. True. Great quote that my friend said. He said, my head is a swimming pool, my heart is the ocean. In other words, when I make decisions with my head, I have finite energy. Right. When I make decisions with the heart, I have infinite energy.
Yes. Man, wow, this is profound. This is deep. Listen, so you're also a best-selling author, right?
Yes.
And I read your book, What's Your Moonshot? The beautiful yellow book. And now you've come out with the new book, Magnetize. Tell me first, before we get into a bit of the book, your journey as an author. What made you start writing? What inspired you to write?
3 reasons. The first reason is that I believe that people don't understand their full potential when they combine it with how technology and exponential technologies are happening around the world.
Right.
Our access to billions of people is at a click of a finger. Our access to brains, our access to capital raising is all here.
Right.
We need to be thinking bigger. That's the first reason. The second reason is Feng Shui Principles has a wonderful principle. One of the principles to Feng Shui is, in order to bring anything new into your life, you must get rid of the old.
Right.
And brain dumping, all that information is such a wonderful feeling. It just gets rid of all that thinking so you can start bringing some new in. And the third reason is best described by a guy called Yogi Bhajan, who brought the sort of concept of Kundalini yoga from the east to the west.
Right.
To the west. And he says this. He says that if you want to learn something, read about it.
Right.
If you want to understand something, write about it. But if you want to master something, teach it.
Right.
And that's the process, is that when you're writing a book, you really have to master the topic that you're trying to get across. You have to redesign, re-edit, research, and you know very well,
Absolutely.
It's no easy task writing a book.
Lots of work.
And so it really puts you into space, and I'm not by no means a master, but really gets you into the space of really understanding the work that you're trying to teach.
And that's what makes bestsellers, right?
Hopefully.
In a nutshell, what is your Moonshot? What's the book about? So, and where can people get that book?
So What's Your Moonshot is about how big, how bold, and how courageous are your questions about the future.
Right.
Do you understand the power that you have? And that's available everywhere. Amazon, Audible, exclusive books, and it's the big yellow book.
Yes.
Yes.
So tell us a bit about Magnetize. What inspired this book? Because I see it says Magnetize, stop the chase, understand the change, take control of your future. Is this a next level, What's Your Moonshot? Is it a sequential? Is it like the follow-up?
Yes, it is a follow-up because I think it's important to think big.
Yeah.
But I think it's also really important to think consciously.
Right.
Is the impact we're having on the world needs to become mature. We need to become mature human beings and how we go about setting up businesses. It's not always about the chase. It's not always about strictly profitability.
Yeah.
It's about making an impact on the world that is elegant, that is deliberate, that is really something that we can be proud of, rather than saying, we ruined the environment, we got a workforce that's disengaged, but we made a profit.
Yeah.
And it's that idea, and I call it in the book the teenage boy syndrome. It's almost like the world is stuck in this teenage boy syndrome of more now.
More now.
And we need to change that.
Yeah. So, I've got a few more questions, and I think this episode is going to be longer than my 15 minutes, which is still cool. And the one question is, do you subscribe to values, morals? I mean, do you have a value system that you live by?
Yes, I think a value system that you work, your value system is brought about quite clearly when you've healed your heart, worked with your shadows, and understood your real motivating factors in your life. And I break it down in my book quite a lot as the shadow aspects of our psychology very much rule our lives without us even realizing. And Jung speaks about it quite in depth around how we pick up shadows and what happens to our psychology when we are then driven by shadow aspects. When we deal with those shadows and bring them into the light, we become a whole human being, a healed human being, and our values become obvious. It becomes obvious for us to collaborate and not compete. It becomes obvious to listen rather than talk. It becomes obvious to lead with your heart than trying to lead with a stick.
True.
And so these sort of values that are almost, I would like to call them immature, are based on us not dealing with our psychological stuff. And once we deal with them, it becomes obvious for us to adopt a very different approach.
Last question before I get to the calls to action. We spoke off air about Simon Sinek.
Yes.
And I've been a proponent and pushed a lot of his work around the why, who, and why, how, and what. And we had a conversation off air where you were saying you think there should be another circle. So this is like Simon Sinek 2.0. In fact, it's actually Simon Sinek plus Johan Sanei, right?
Yeah, okay.
And you spoke about who.
Yes.
Break that down for us.
So first I want to say I love Simon Sinek. I mean, I think he's incredible. I listen to a lot of his stuff. He's a storyteller extraordinaire. But what I think we need to add in a new circle is a who, why, how, and what.
Right.
And by that I mean the future that we're moving into, we have to redesign who we are going to be and who our business is going to be before we can understand our why. And I've worked with many organizations where their future looks very different to where they are today. And then how do you devise a why that is about what you're doing right now? Who you're going to be is based on understanding the future, categorizing, contextualizing trends around that. And so, for example, I worked with De Beers, and De Beers is famously a diamond business. But if you look at what's happening with diamonds and the manufacturing of diamonds, 20 to 30% of the human population not buying diamonds, the future of De Beers doesn't lie in diamonds, but lies in luxury. So who De Beers is going to be is a luxury business, not a diamond business. Then you work out your why, then your how, and then your what.
Sounds fantastic. We're on set with Johan Sanei and really unpacking a lot. I mean, we need an episode like for 2 hours just to have this kind of conversation. So, John, as we said, just to close off our episode, can you just share 3 nuggets, 3 calls to action for our viewers that they can take away and begin to implement in their lives in line with what you've discussed today?
Great. So, first thing I think which is really important is for us to become high-value human beings.
High value.
And what it means to be a high-value human being is quite simple, and I'll just break it down. Every single human being wants attention, acceptance, and approval. All of us do everything in order to gain attention, acceptance, and approval. The car we drive, the sports team we follow, the clothes we wear, the brands we choose to put around us. Low-value human beings beg for attention, acceptance, and approval. Low-value human beings also become aggressive to gain attention, acceptance, and approval. Low-value human beings also compete to get attention, acceptance, and approval.
They don't collaborate, no.
High-value human beings give attention, acceptance, and approval.
And
I think really that point is theirs. Be calm, elegant, and deliberate, and listen. Be a high-value human being. And that really ultimately positions you as a leader in this space. The second thing I would say is take time to build future memories. And by that I mean, and we always think that memories are being something in the past, and I disagree. I think time is malleable. And if you think about when you do something you love, time zips past. And when you're sitting in traffic, time stretches so long. So I think time is malleable, and if we can take some time out throughout our day to build future memories of where we're the world we want to move into, rather than being thinking that we're just stuck in a rat race. Take responsibility, build future memories, and start working towards them. And third, everybody asks me what the silver bullet is in order to get to where you need to go.
Yeah.
And the silver bullet is accretion. Accretion is a term from the solar system that talks about space dust that's floating around space. And after a few hundred years or thousand years, some rocks start hitting each other. And after a few million years, some bigger rocks start hitting after each other. And a couple dozens of millions of years, what you end up with is a star. And what happens is that star is being formed by small, daily, moment-by-moment decisions that you choose to have an optimistic view of the future or a pessimistic future. And these small, little, nuanced decisions add up to make you either a star or irrelevant.
Oh man, that's mind-blowing. That's like really mind-blowing. Last question. What does the future hold for John?
I'm moving to New York, so...
I mean, you're leaving South Africa.
Well, I'm not leaving totally, and I don't think I ever will, because I think I have a great network, lots of friends and family here. But I think that the ability, the option, and the privilege to go and live in New York is something that I'm going to take full advantage of. And I want to go and start speaking on the same platforms as the world's best. And I need to get there to do that. I need to become fitter, faster, and greater at what I do. And it only really starts to happen in those major metropolises around the world. So New York, hopefully a New York bestseller, and hopefully sharing a stage with Simon Sinek and the crew.
In the concrete jungle where dreams are made of. I'm saying Simon, I'm calling you Simon Sinek.
There we go.
John Sanei. It's close to Sinek though. It's close to Sinek.
Yeah.
John, thank you so much. It's been a privilege having you on Exceptional TV. Guys, this is the man of the hour. It's probably almost an hour we've been chatting. Really privileged to have had him in studio. Thank you so much. And thanks for the book. We're going to get this autographed off air. Sorry for you guys, because you're not going to see his signature, because I know you guys want to like copy the signature, then sign checks that don't exist. But remember to do the things that need to be done. Subscribe to our channel, Exceptional TV. Follow all our things. You know, my producer, my daughter, she's going to hoy all the stuff. And if you want to get in touch, it's alex@exceptionaltv.co.za. Until next time, I'm out.
Ciao.